Are you a business owner that could use just one more customer? Those empty tables, vacant appointments, idle employees, and expired merchandise are missed opportunities. What if there were a community that connects you to high-value and motivated customers, giving you a competitive edge in the marketplace and increasing your revenue? Introducing Partners One. You keep doing what you do best, taking care of your customers, and we'll do what we do best, sending you new customers to take care of. Call us today to find out how Partners One can work for your business.
Welcome to the Rocket Right Show, starring Hurricane Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Solar. Two busy blondes with their fingers on the pulse of all things Louisiana. Events, health, leisure, entertainment, and more. It's the Rocket Right Show. And now, here's Betsy and Kay.
If you're looking for a good time, you found it. So we're really glad that you could join us. We're excited to share a few of our favorite people with you, people that you might not meet otherwise, but we want to make sure that you get to know them a little bit, and we hope that you do some business with them. So in our Partners One studio, in our business spotlight, we have Lea Richardson with A Cottage Path, Florist, who's also a Partners One member, and she has been a member of the professional florist community for a long time. And we're going to see some of her work and share some of her tips for events coming up. And then we're going to meet Pete Ranzino. Pete Ranzino is the founder and owner of Learning Sciences Corporation. Pete actually is the highest ranking business, independently owned and operated business in Louisiana that made the Inc. 5000 list. He also ranks number 66 in software companies in the country. So in the whole United States, 535, that's pretty high rank. And number 66 for software company. We're going to talk a little bit about what he does in web-based workforce development training, how that can help you, help your workforce, and some of the things going forward. And
you know
we got a little music.
Is medicine. And we know that everybody needs a big whopping dose of it. And we've got Chris LeBlanc on the show who's going to be, making us feel all good.
And as we always say, we love some Chris LeBlanc.
Yes, absolutely.
We love some Chris LeBlanc, so we're so glad he could come back.
Yeah, and life is good when he's on the show.
That's right.
So then, have you ever wanted to meet your chef and said, man, who's that person back there fixing me that fine food?
That's right.
And so we are going to have the chef from City Pork Brasserie and Bar, my favorite place, one of them in the world. The other might be some of the other city hospitality groups.
There's not a bad meal at any of them.
I love it, and he's going to be joining us and actually show us how he creates some of these special dishes right here on the show.
That. I'm hoping to learn a little tip or two. Mm-hmm. And the wine dinner that we went to at City Pork was phenomenal. That was wonderful.
Always. And my wine dinner was phenomenal.
Yes, you had such a successful.
With the 3rd Street Songwriters Festival, we had one bottle of wine left over. It was actually aged for 1 year waiting on this festival. But I'm going to tell you, City Pork Catering catered it. It was like out of a Garden and Gun magazine. I want to tell you, Point Marie, beautiful.
I cannot wait to see the photos.
Beautiful setting.
Go to our Facebook and go to 3rd Street Songwriters and look at that. Mm-hmm. So speaking of events.
Yeah, there needs to be flowers at all events, right?
Yes. That's right. So Lea Richardson, you're the owner of A Cottage Path that is located on Highland Road, the historic Highland Road, not too far from Country Club of Louisiana.
That's correct.
And you have been a very gifted and talented florist for a very long time. I've actually received flowers from you.
Oh, good.
And they lasted a long time, and they were really beautiful.
Good.
And so tell us a little bit about your business and how you've made it through the pandemic.
Well, I started in business 23 years ago. And it's wonderful to do what you love for a living.
Yes.
The pandemic has hit everybody. There hasn't been anybody who hasn't been affected by the pandemic. But it's starting to come back now that the venues are allowed to have more guests. And when you do a lot of weddings, that's kind of important. You can't do a wedding with 25 guests. It's really hard. Mm-hmm. But everything is starting to come back, and a lot of the larger venues are starting to refresh themselves and get going for this wedding season. I think it's going to be really a wonderful improvement over what it has been.
People are ready to socialize, and they're ready to celebrate, and we've really been held back, which is not our nature.
Are you seeing a big boom in folks planning their weddings and ordering floral things because there has been a backlog of it, I guess, from people like putting things off for a year because they couldn't, and so now it's like since things are opening up a little bit, it's kind of like double what it would be this time yet. Are we seeing that yet?
No, and I think we'll see it in 22. From the bridal shows that I do, that's the indication that I get that things are cautiously improving in 2021, but everybody is really planning for 2022. So,
got it. A lot of people going to be getting married that year, you're saying.
Exactly.
Especially since they plan a year in advance. I mean, I would say they weren't thinking, and then now they're going a year from now.
Yeah, they're ready.
For sure.
But when you don't have weddings, you don't often have larger showers and parties, engagement announcement parties.
Right, all of that connects to the weddings.
Yes, and then fundraisers, corporate fundraisers, nonprofit fundraisers, so it's kind of really just pulled everything back. So I guess people are kind of getting their finances in order, rebuilding their networks.
They are. And like I said, all of the bigger venues are they're gearing up and they're ready. But one of the things I did find during the pandemic is my regular business increased.
Really?
Okay, and when you say
business.
your regular business, what type of businesses are those? That
Like people sending just flowers to people for no particular reason, or for birthdays or celebrations, or if they're in the hospital, things like that. All of that type of business really increased.
Well,
during the
and I
pandemic.
think that may have been a way of connecting. Do you feel like that? Because they weren't
was.
able to see that person. They weren't able to hug that person, but they could send them some flowers,
Right.
and they knew they were thinking
And
about
that was
them.
exactly
That's
it.
great.
That's wonderful. We actually have some pictures of some of your work, and you do beautiful work.
So can we show some of those
Beautiful.
photos? Okay. Do you want to talk about any of them as they're coming up? What we're seeing
That looks like
here?
a very large centerpiece arrangement, and it looks like there's multiple arrangements, so maybe for a
Yeah.
wedding, that would be good for a wedding fundraiser.
Yeah, and that was actually for a fundraiser. It was for Sister Dulcie's fundraiser that she does every year.
Oh, yes.
And so we have a different theme with our tables every year, so that was one of those.
And that's beautiful. That looks like there's lots of different flowers within that arrangement.
Yeah, that was also a charity fundraiser that I did.
Beautiful.
years ago.
That's really beautiful. That's a little more close-up of the arrangement. It looks like
Right,
just very
right.
vibrant. Maybe that one is a wedding, the white bouquets. Or
Right.
it looks like hydrangeas in a vase.
They are, and what it was it was supposed to be a cloud with rainfall. So we formed this cloud out of hydrangeas, and then the tooling was the rainfall.
Oh, that's
on the
beautiful.
table.
That's beautiful. And I love roses of every color, and those look like they're kind of a peach.
They are. They're a pretty peachy colored rose, and a lot of the roses coming out of South America nowadays are beautiful garden type roses. They're those really big, plushy,
Larger,
with the curls
more
in the
full
center type
bloom.
roses.
And vibrant pink, you have to love.
That definitely just screams spring.
That does.
Yeah.
That does, with the Gerber daisies and the roses. And then what was this arrangement for? It looks like you have something up high and something lower. Was that for a display, for a show, maybe a bridal show? It looks like maybe kind of a bouquet.
It was. It was different bouquets, and they were situated on a. It's an Art Deco piece of a gate that I have. I keep a lot of antiques and things like that in my shop, so I use
You
them
do.
for displays.
It's been a while
Yeah.
since I've been in your shop, but you do have, it just feels like you're stepping into a variety of antique shop, accessories and gifts, as well as flowers.
Yeah, and I have a lot of fun with it, so.
Table centerpiece we're seeing here. And another.
That looks like kind of a long and low centerpiece.
Yeah, that was it was actually almost the length of 3 of those 6-foot tables put together.
Wow.
That was up at Homa's house, and it was just a big gardeny swirl of flowers, different types of flowers that went across the table.
And beautiful on that on the cake there.
On the
Thank
wedding
you.
cake. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
We do, we do a lot of wedding cakes. Most of the bakeries in Baton Rouge, they trust me to do the flowers on the cake. Some of them are kind of, they're picky about how they want their cakes, just as like I'm picky about how I want my flowers.
Right. They've got to go together very well.
Yes, yes.
And one not mess up the other.
Right, right.
And then that looks just like a beautiful, and for the people on radio, you might not be able to see all the colors, but you will be able to see the pictures on our Facebook page. If you go to Rocket
Right.
Right Entertainment, we'll share those and connect you with Lee. And then every florist has a florist cat.
Yeah, that's
A house
Belinda.
cat.
She's our baby.
So that is such a precious picture.
And she approves of the
Oh yeah, she has
arrangements
to get,
before they go
right in
out.
the middle of what you're doing. She adopted us about 5 years ago, so we took her and had her fixed and got her shots and all that. So she hangs around the courtyard and comes inside when she wants. And
Well, she's got it made.
yep, we love her.
Yeah, so she's a pretty
awesome.
kitty. She really is. So some of the things that, in planning, like for 2022 or even 2021, what are some of the trends that you're seeing that brides may be leaning toward?
Well, I think, the trend the past couple years has been these enormous bouquets with all this greenery. It looked like they were carrying a centerpiece almost. And now things are kind of going back to normal. Not really naughty bouquets, but kind of loose and airy and, but not this huge thing that literally covered their whole dress. Those kind of scared me.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they're coming back to, like a looser design bouquet. A lot of gardeny looking flowers, a lot of the gardeny looking roses, and accented with things like freesias and tulips and different things along those lines.
Like they may have just gone through the garden and picked a
Exactly.
bouquet. I still think
A
that's
little
just
less
simple
is
and
more
beautiful.
kind of style.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are some of the items that are just luxury items that people might be looking at? And we have really less than a minute. I shouldn't ask you such a long question
no.
at the end.
And basically, when you're planning a wedding and you're on a budget, the main thing you need to do is to find your most important things, like your bridal bouquet, the main centerpiece at the reception, things like that that are really going to make your impact. And that's where you spend your money.
Makes
and
sense.
then you can cut a little on the others and make it all fit into your budget.
That's good advice. Well, if you're planning a wedding or you're planning an event, you need to contact Lea Richardson with A Cottage Path. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on the website. But you can also call Lea at 225-752-5880. And you are a Partners One member, and
I
people
am.
need to know about Partners One. So thank you so much for coming in, and we
Thank you. I
appreciate you
appreciate the
sharing this
opportunity.
spring
Yes.
festive
Thank you
time
so
with
much.
us.
Great.
Thank you, Lee. We'll be right back with Pete Ranzino with Learning Sciences Corporation.